my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's insane. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's Saturday, legends, and it's the fucking big one. Welcome to Coolest Alive's hour-long mother show, where today we are celebrating the everlasting greatness of the fucking Critters franchise for a full, glorious hour. Jesse Blaze Snyder is here, the coolest man alive, broadcasting from the Neon Cathedral of Blacklight District Studio. Before we light today's fuse, though, let me lock you into the weekly schedule for Coolest Alive so you never miss a drop. Monday through Friday, we've got 5 short, approximately 15 minutes, soul-bearing recommendations. Monday, it's music. Tuesday, it's animation. Wednesday, it's comics. Thursday, it's live-action films and TV. Friday, it's a wild card rotation of games, docs, stand-up, books, plays, whatever I'm feral about. And then Saturday, this right here, motherfuckers, go deep, hour-long fire. But before we kick off today's celebration of the Critters, let's just get a quick shout-out to my company, Blacklight District Studio, where we cook up boutique music and comics that you can't find anywhere else. Because honestly, as I've said many times before, I would not be here speaking to you now if there wasn't a need for me to promote my company and everything we do. If there wasn't a need for me to have a platform, as everybody really needs these days who is being creative. I don't want to be somebody with a platform on fucking social media and sucking the dick of all these different social media platforms. You know, for me, I have plenty to offer. I've been studying entertainment my entire life, and I have a lot of things that I can gift to you through this show. And for me, that's the exchange. I'm going to give you guys everything that I've ever come across that is just so wonderful that you should check out too. And I'm hoping that you guys, seeing that I have good taste, seeing that I've been studying all this great stuff, go, hey, maybe some of this greatness that Jesse is recommending to us has rubbed off on him. Trust me, it has. And, you know, I love recommending these things, but more than I love recommending them, I love making them. I love writing comic books. I love creating stories. I love writing music. So Blacklight District Studios, my company, we always have something brewing on Kickstarter, pre-ordering essentially, and right now is no different. You can still jump in. It's a little bit late to get in on my Solfeggio Healing Frequency modern music project. It's written by me, created using frequencies that will lower your heart rate and benefit you in all sorts of ways. 432 hertz frequency, the Solfeggio scale, all 9 frequencies. This is a real passion of mine. I'd made this stuff for myself because I wanted some healing frequency music that was in, you know, it was just stylized like stuff I would hear on the radio as opposed to didgeridoo and chanting and oming and all that kind of shit, which is usually what you get from spiritual music that's tuned to healing frequencies. I just wanted some normal stuff, and I made this for myself, and I was having such a positive effect on me, like calming me down, meditating with it and whatnot, that I decided to release it. And then I decided to do this Kickstarter when people were asking me to put out something physical and collectible. So if you want to get something cool and physical, collectible, possibly signed from me or whatever else, go to the Kickstarter. You can still get things a little bit late. Yeah, you know, I love this conversation. We started a petition for healing frequency to change, the main frequency of standard tuning in modern, in like record label released music to 432, which is healing frequency territory. If you see what 432 does to a drop of water under a microscope versus what 440 does, which is the standard tuning, what that does to a drop of water under a microscope, you will go, clearly, this is more harmonic than this is, because 440 looks like a muddled mess, and 432 looks like this beautiful sun sort of image. There's a lot of fucking, you know, for me, that's a very simple way of going, the science is in. Look at the mathematics of this shape. Look at the mathematics of that shape. But I love that stuff. And more than just this music, this campaign was kind of an easy thing for me to raise a little bit of money for to help the next project that we're doing, which is Sugar and Bones magazine. So, you know, we're raising for a few covers. We get some really wonderful artists who, I'm not going to announce them until I have them all like locked in. But we got some really awesome artists who are going to be doing some covers for our Sugar and Bones magazine, which is an anthology comic book magazine. That's coming next. Planning on some hemp plastic toys after this. We'll see how it all plays out over the next bunch of months. But the next thing is the magazine. Hopefully, in like mid-January or something, we'll be launching that. But I gotta fulfill all of our albums that were ordered first before I can kick off our next project. And like I said, as soon as I go into the fulfillment, all of these, the ordering is going to be done. So you probably have 2 weeks, I'm guessing, something like that, before I do that. I don't know. If I take too long, maybe you'll have a little bit extra time. But if you want to get in there as soon as you can. Anyway, stay tuned for the latest updates and all that on our website. If you go to blacklightdistrict.studio, that's kind of the easiest way to go link over to our campaign, listen to free music, read some free comics. It's a fun place, and we're building up the Blacklight District Studio website so that it'll be a place where people can go and be creative together, find collaborators for music, find collaborators for comics. That's really my hope for it, that one day lots of creative people will go over there and be able to come together and make great things. And then maybe we can cover it in the magazine. Also, if your third eye isn't already tuned in every fucking Sunday to Everything They Don't Want You to Know, that's my esoteric deep dive into the hidden truths of reality, then tune it in. It's literally medicine for the psychic part of your brain. All right. Dude, honestly, I hate cooking. Mostly because I don't know what I'm doing really. I'm a perfectionist, and I hate waste. But my son Grayson, he really wants to learn how to be a great chef, and I don't want to discourage him. Enter HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit, allowing me to look like a total dad chef Chad with all the most delicious recipes and no food waste at the end. I'm happy, my son's happy, and really the whole family is happy because they all get to eat a home-cooked meal instead of pizza or pasta like they end up eating 90% of the time. But not anymore. Now, it's all chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients delivered straight to our door. And this isn't the HelloFresh you remember. This fall, they're serving up even more things to love. They're bigger. HelloFresh has doubled its menu. Now you can choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. Plus, dig into bigger portions that'll keep everyone satisfied. They're healthier. Now you can feel great with even healthier menu. Choosing from 15 plus high protein recipes each week with options like grass-fed ribeyes or lamb chops. Plus, HelloFresh now helps you eat greener with new veggie-packed recipes that have 2 or more veggies per dish. And they're tastier too. Now you can get steak and seafood recipes delivered every week for no extra cost, with 3 times the seafood options they once had. Plus, savor the season with hearty fall recipes like classic beef chili or honey glazed pork tenderloin, and discover new seasonal produce each week, from leeks to broccolini to Italian eggplant and more. I've used this to change the way I do dinner with my family, and you should too. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/CGA10FM now to get 10 free meals plus a free breakfast for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/CGA10FM. CGA, not just CA. CGA 10FM to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. HelloFresh is America's #1 choice for home cooking. Enough foreplay. It's time to set your whole week ablaze with the fire of greatness. Let us go. All right, everybody. Buckle the hell up, because today we're diving into one of the most underrated, overachieving, joyfully chaotic creature feature franchises ever put on film. A series so scrappy, so inventive, so gloriously twisted that even Siskel and freaking Ebert, 2 dudes who absolutely should not have liked this movie, ended up giving the original Critters the famous 2 thumbs up. That alone should tell you what kind of miracle we are dealing with here. We're talking about Critters, the saga of those rolling, razor-toothed, alien, piranha, porcupine, gremlin meets Looney Tunes death balls known as the Krites. A franchise that started as a tiny independent film in 1986 and just kept mutating, evolving, falling apart, rebuilding, and surviving like a true B-movie cockroach champion. The series was created by Stephen Herrick, Dominic Muir, the story, and producer Rupert Harvey, with the original directed by Herrick himself. And though idiots on the internet will always yell, Gremlins ripoff, the truth is the script for Critters existed before Gremlins was even released. They just happened to hit theaters in the same era, and probably on the strength of Gremlins got, rushed into production or whatever else. But, this is the golden age of creature effects here, and Critters proudly carved out its own identity as the punk rock cousin to the other more mainstream monster movies. And because I had spoken about Gremlins 3 and the possibilities recently, this stuff was very on my mind. And when I came out to North Carolina, and I'm visiting with my family for a few weeks for Thanksgiving, and when I opened up Tubi on my sister's guest room TV, didn't have anything. Any accounts put into the thing. So I just pulled up Tubi to see if anything was free. And almost every Critters movie was fucking free on the thing. And I love Critters 2 in particular. I'd always loved it since I was a kid. And I think I'd seen bits and pieces of the other Critters movies. And I was just kind of like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm fucking diving into all the Critters shit that I've never seen, because what I've seen of the Critters, I love so much. The creature effects were handled by the Chiodo brothers, the geniuses behind Killer Clowns from Outer Space, animation on Pee-wee's Playhouse, and decades of practical FX history. They created the iconic Critters look, the rolling ball gags, the transformations, the oversized critter forms, everything. Without the Chiodo brothers, there is no Critters. And I mean, honestly, this was such a great experience for me, because when I first was watching it, I was like, oh, let me brush up on Critters, or was it Critters 2? Which is the one that I really liked? And and it was Critters 2 is the one that's my favorite, and that's the one that I saw when I was younger and made me a fan of the franchise, even though I didn't know much about it. I hadn't watched all of them, but every time I would ever see the Critters, I was like, I fucking love those Critters. But I was thinking, oh, cool, this might be a Thursday live action pick recommendation for everybody next week. And then very quickly, as I was watching all of the stuff, I went, nah, fuck that, brother. I'm celebrating this shit. This is amazing. Just so clever and so fun. And just really, really excited to chat about this today and share this with you and encourage you to go deeper into the Critters franchise, as I now have, and I'm so glad that I did. The first Critters, 1986, was a surprise box office success, pulling in around $13 million theatrically on a tiny budget, and then becoming a monster on home video, driving New Line Cinema forward at exactly the right time. And this movie is part alien invasion flick, part comedy, part family home under siege thriller. And it gave us the unforgettable shape-shifting bounty hunters, including Ugg and Lee. Get it? I didn't get it at the time, but I did think that was kind of funny. Ugg and Lee, who set a tone for the sequels and how all of this shit would run. Really an interesting aspect of the whole thing. And seemingly the biggest inspiration behind the whole thing was this idea that these alien bounty hunters would have to come to Earth to hunt some, dangerous aliens that, were here. And I'll get into all of this at greater length in a second. I just wanted to kind of recap everything, just put it all into some perspective before we started chatting about it all. But the only sequel in the franchise that was released theatrically, directed by Mick Garris, this one leans way harder into comedy. This is, of course, Critters 2. It amps up the gore. It gives us the legendary Critter Ball moment, and once again features the Chiodo brothers' amazing work. Also, yes, the Easter Bunny scene. If you know, you know. Critters 2 is arguably the best of the franchise series, and I swear every one of these entries has something to offer. Even the one of the fan films that's terrible. I mean, it's still kind of fun, even though I don't necessarily recommend that one. But it is fun, and of the real entries, the possible exception, the weakest one here on the list is Critters 4, which is by far the weakest of all of them. I mean, I suppose Critters All You Can Eat fan film is is definitely worse. But it's nice. The Critters All You Can Eat fan film does have like kind of like just hits all of the notes that a Critters film might want to enjoy, and Critters 4 doesn't exactly like hit any of that stuff. I don't know. We'll talk about it. I'll decide. I've been trying to decide which is my least favorite, and it's between the one fan film or Critters 4, Critters in Space. Critters 3 in 1991 is famous for being Leonardo DiCaprio's first film, but that went straight to video, tiny budget, but is weirdly charming, and was shot back-to-back with 1992's Critters 4, Critters in Space. New Line went full fucking Jason X 8 years before Jason X existed. This time the Krites are loose on a space station. It's the most sci-fi entry, and it's got Angela Bassett, plus the voice of Chucky and Lord of the Rings, Mr. Wormtongue himself, Brad Dourif, Anders Hove, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Anders Hove, I think, is the dude who plays like the shitty boyfriend in Twin Peaks. I love Twin Peaks. I've been meaning to do an episode on Twin Peaks. My girlfriend Julie introduced me to Twin Peaks when we first started dating, and I'm very, very glad that she did. And also the return of Don Keith Opper as what's his face, the main guy, Charlie, and Terrence Mann from the previous films, who plays Ugg, one of the bounty hunters. And we'll talk at length about him because he's one of my favorite little aspects of the whole thing. Like I said, not the strongest entry, but a fascinating, we got to finish this story finale to the original tetralogy. And considering it was made side by side with Critters 3, which I think is really excellent and on par with the original Critters, it's strange how weak this entry really is. But, it really does still have something to offer. The Critters whole thing is just a lot of fun. It really, really is. But, after these movies came out, silence for almost 3 decades. No Critters, no Krites, no nothing. Until suddenly, in the 2010s, these little monsters started rolling back into our lives. Critters, a new binge in 2019, which was a Shudder series, or eventually released as a Shudder series, was a wild, deliberately cartoonish, over-the-top revival made for Shudder. 8 mini episodes dropped at once. People are divided on the tone, but I'm not really. It commits hard to the insanity and brings in the incredibly funny Stephen Merchant to voice the first English-speaking Krite president, which alone earns it points. For those of you who know, Stephen Merchant is also the voice of, I don't know if he's in both of the games. There's a great video game called Portal, if you've ever played it, and you're dealing with this robot who's like talking to you the whole time, and he just has no care about you or your life. He's just this fucking nihilist robot voice. It's played by Stephen Merchant, and he's fucking hysterical. And I didn't even realize that he was the Krite president until I was doing a little bit of research before I started the show. I was like, fucking Stephen Merchant. Oh yeah, that's why he was so awesome, because he really is great. This entry is a weird one. Krites have personalities, jokes, schemes. It's basically Looney Tunes with carnage. Not everybody loves it, but I can't not. I can't not love it. It's the one that has, like, beyond Critters 2, which like stuck with me my whole life. This one, of like the past 3-week odyssey or 2-week odyssey of me watching all these movies, this one has stuck with me the most. This is the one that I keep thinking about, keep coming back to, even though it's not necessarily as good as that. And by the end of it, I'm gonna just kind of rate my whole things of like, which ones I think are the best ones, just for funsies. But oh man, there's a lot of fucking interesting shit in here. There's even a quick cameo appearance by this lone red Krite who is like fucking super powerful and dies like a few minutes after he's introduced, having no real introduction other than, what's the deal with that red Krite over there? And then showing him shooting quills into somebody, and it like basically disintegrates this person in an instant. See like one person get disintegrated. One shot of a red Krite, bright red hair. There's just so many things in this movie that I just find so like, it's just like one time it happens. There's a moment that I had to share with my dad where they do bullet time with one of the bounty hunters throwing a lunch tray at one of the Krites, and the Krite does like the back bend, where he's like just avoiding the dinner, the lunch tray. And when they cut back to him standing up like triumphantly, he's wearing a little Matrix jacket. And that's either like the worst thing that's ever happened to the Critter franchise, or maybe the best. It was just so fucking ridiculous. There's so many things in Critters: A New Binge that I just find completely ridiculous. But I really loved it, man. I really liked it. Honestly, this is the most over-the-top entry, and for that, it really just earned a spot in my heart. Then you got Critters Attack, 2019 sci-fi film, like TV film. Now this one brings back Dee Wallace, who's not technically the same character, but come on, it's fucking her. Dee Wallace, E.T.'s mom. I mean, Elliot's mom. And Dee was in the first movie. It's very cool, actually, because literally they just call her Miss D. So it's just like this nod to her as a horror icon. I like to think, though, that, D stands for death or something like that. And it is actually Dee Wallace. And there's some sort of explanation that just hasn't been given to us of why she's now doing this. At least that's in my head canon, because that seems fun. It features a good critter named Bianca, which ends up revealing to be the most fucking modern day creative choice of the series. We'll talk about that later. And it tries to bridge nostalgia with a modern TV movie vibe. And honestly, it's way better than anyone expected. Definitely made with love for the original. And like, the scary bits are scary. Like the monsters look great and stuff. And honestly, if the acting was just a little bit better, I'd consider it nearly on par with the first and third one. It's serviceable. It really, it's achieving a lot of those things. It just, the TV movie thing, like the lead actress is just a bit stiff. And so a lot of the acting is just a little, but ultimately, really, it's a paint by number. It'll in a lot of ways copy of, not exactly really, because the Critters 2 and I should say it's a simpler version of Critters 1 and Critters 2 or whatever. But very similar. It hits a lot of the beats, and I think it's really solid. Sorry, I'm just going through all my notes here. Yeah, honestly, it's better than anybody expected. It's made with love for the original, and it's just the fucking acting. It's just like, yeah. But still, I mean, I can survive that, and I think you'll survive it too. But beyond these 6, which are all the professional real ones, there are also some great fan films, which are really, kind of the secret heart of the Critters fandom. And like I said, I've not been like a hardcore fan, even though I'm a hardcore fan in how much I loved the bits of the Critters stuff that I've seen. I just haven't been following it and following up all these years. And, and I wasn't necessarily imagining that the other Critters movies would be any good. But they were. They were all good. Even the terriblest of the fan films was fun. And I mean, just both surprisingly high quality fan made entries. Well, really, honestly, I was saying this, and then just because I was trying to be complimentary, but to a certain degree, saying that insults the number one of the fan made ones, Critters Bounty Hunter by Jordan Downey. It is gritty, stylish, great effects, absolutely made by a fan who gets it. It's only 6 minutes. It's not long, but and it's very simple. Just one Krite, one bounty hunter. He's enters into this empty house and but it's just so well done, so well made, really, really, really good. Critters All You Can Eat is not so well made. It's it's a lot of it is just so much of the effects are just some puppet that doesn't move or anything, but literally they did a little bit of computer effects. Everything's just computer effects. The acting is absolutely terrible. I think there's a little cameo appearance by this podcaster, YouTuber guy whose name I don't remember, but I watch his channel a lot. I just haven't learned his name, and I recognized him immediately. He's got a mullet, and he gets killed in the movie. It definitely does everything that anybody would like to see. It got released on YouTube just this past year or something like that, but I guess came out in 2023 originally. It's just kind of fast, fun, delivers exactly what the title promises, nonstop Krite chaos, albeit a bit more rough around the edges, but longer and plenty of fun. And for people who really, really like the Critters franchise, like I do, I enjoyed watching it. I'll probably never watch it again, but it was fun to watch the thing and just to see, from other people's perspectives, essentially, like, as a fan-made thing, it's like, well, what did they key to, And there was certainly a lot of stuff where you're like, yeah, that's funny. I appreciate that. But these fan films, they keep the flame alive in a way that proves this franchise still has juice. You don't make fan films for something unless it's truly beloved, and this franchise is special. But what makes Critters so lovable, so enduring? It's honestly just that perfect mix of, well, one, real creature effects, but real humor and real danger. There's humor, but ultimately, at the end of the day, all of this stuff is being taken seriously, even though occasionally it's not being taken seriously, but also it always does come back around, even in the most absurd entries, to, a relative seriousness. Death, life is on the line. These monsters they're going to eat you. It's fairly gory. These things will just and munch you up. But I think that total refusal to take itself too seriously while still treating the monsters with respect, that's it, man. These are punk rock gremlins. They are chaos gremlins. They are space piranha, death fuzzballs with a taste of fucking ham and intergalactic crime. And somehow, after all these decades, they're still fucking awesome. They're still fucking awesome, man. All right. So let's chat about this franchise. And, we will start from the beginning. I'm just going to kind of go in order. I think I'll leave the fan films for last. And we will slowly but surely just kind of rip any mystery off of this thing. It's funny that, I did a bunch of, kind of deep diving into, factoids and little pieces of information about the franchise before I started the show. And apparently the creators, the creature effects creators were the ones, the Chiodo brothers, I think, they were the ones who came up with the idea for them rolling around, and they also designed them loosely on the Tasmanian devil, which is interesting because they're like, kind of like a Tasmanian devil, which they do. They have kind of a triangular appearance like the Tasmanian devil, and instead of spinning sideways, they roll forward, which is cute and definitely is like gives them a big portion of their I don't know, their menace, but their style, and it's just really the visual effect of these little things rolling around. And then, of course, the eventual from Critters 2, which we'll get into in a second, the giant ball of multiple critters running around. Don't let that shit run you over or you'll become a skeleton. The first movie features Dee Wallace as Helen Brown and is really heavily focused on the Brown family. Her husband, Jay Brown, is played by Billy Green Bush, and their son is played by Scott Grimes, Brad Brown. And Brad Brown comes back in the sequel. Scott Grimes is great. He's a young kid here. He's really well known for being on like the Orville nowadays. He showed up in tons of fucking movies over the years. What a charming kid he is. I really like him as an actor. Even as a kid, he had just charm and charisma, and he's excellent here. The sheriff, played by M. Emmett Walsh, who's a very famous actor. If you don't recognize his name, you would recognize him when you saw him. The only part that I can remember him playing off the top of my head right now is he's the reporter for the hockey team in Slapshot that, Paul Newman is like kind of trying to help him. You got to put this in the article, talk about this in the article. He's all right, but he plays the sheriff here, and he's one of the few people who was asked to come back in the sequel that doesn't come back, and he gets replaced in his role. But The family's rounded out with the sister, April Brown, played by Nadine Vandervelde, who shows up in like that Munchies movie, and a lot of these horror people, when something's successful, they end up going on to play in a bunch of others. But her boyfriend in the movie, who shows up is one of the first people to get fucking devoured, is Billy Zane, a young Billy Zane coming off of Back to the Future 2, I think at the time, is playing or Back to the Future 1, playing one of Biff's good friends. Billy Zane gets eaten alive, goddammit, and kicks off some of the carnage that goes down at the Browns' house. The majority of this movie is contained to the Brown family and what they're having to deal with. And, I don't want to spoil every little bit of these movies because they do have surprises and stuff in store. So I'll just say, it's pretty self-contained. It really revolves around the Brown family, and and ultimately these Krites coming to visit them. But more than the Krites, and the thing that really cleverly takes the whole Critters franchise up a notch and lets it be a sci-fi horror movie and a slightly more interesting horror movie than something like Gremlins, which I think is really great. Like Gremlins 1, which I like. I like Gremlins 1 a lot, and I like Gremlins. Gremlins 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. But Critters, if Gremlins was just Gremlins and not Gremlins 2, Critters I like better than Gremlins. Like there's just some aspects of it that are really, I find very interesting, and really what that main bit is the bounty hunter premise, which is, like I said earlier, the early thing that was inspiring to the creators of this franchise. These bounty hunters are really cool. They're in the spaceship, and they have these weird kind of green glowing putty-like heads. And they are basically told that there's a bounty on Earth. There are a bunch of Krites there. That's the name of the aliens that have landed on Earth, and they need to go and exterminate these things. Go get them. And the first thing that one of the bounty hunters does is turn on some Earth television. He tunes in to a broadcast of Earth TV, and he tunes in to basically MTV or something, and there's a music video where there's this awesome long-haired, big 80s, blown out hair, kind of Tim Curry, Billy Idol looking motherfucker played by Terrence Mann with this great fucking hair. And all of a sudden the Play-Doh face of this guy, he turns in to this rock star. Johnny Steele or something like that is his name. I loved that part. That like when that happened in the movie, when I can remember seeing it as a kid, going, "Wow, that's so neat!" And like, what a neat way to have your bounty hunter really look cool, and to very simply allow for just a human appearance of somebody. But that they're secretly alien, and like I don't know. As you're hearing it, I'm hoping that a lot of you are like, yeah, that's really cool. There's something really cool about that. It really is, and it goes even deeper than that, because the other, it's like a duo of bounty hunters, and the other dude, Lee. He notoriously in the first and in the second, he kind of keeps transforming. He doesn't pick one from the TV. He gets to Earth, and basically every single time they run into a new person, he'll take their form. So now he's the sheriff. Well, not the sheriff, but one of the police officers. Now he's the priest, I think is like the second person that he takes, the town's priest. And literally the townspeople are going to the sheriff going, this famous rock star, the fucking town drunk, and the town priest just broke into the such and such, and and shot a bunch of holes in the place, and there's fucking monster. Like, it just, adds to the overall confusion and what the fuck is going on of the townspeople. But of course, the audience knows exactly what's going on. So, because you get to see these guys flying over there in the spaceship and you're seeing them transform into these people. So you're in the know and watching watching the townspeople and all the people who are being affected by this story as it unfolds, react like what the hell is going on? It's like fucking Johnny Steele is here? Like, what the hell is David Bowie doing here? That part of it I just find so humorous. And, and I don't know if it tickled my funny bone just a little bit extra because my dad's a fucking rock star and, I just grew up with the, in the 80s and and all these sort of things, being prominent and positive and like the idea of like a good looking, cool rock star with long hair, that was like a cool look. That was a good choice, like a choice of something larger than life. I famously did a comic book for DC Comics called Dead Romeo, and I made my vampire, and don't confuse him with like Lestat, because it's very different than the Lestat kind of thing. At a glance, though, maybe it sounds similar, but just so that visually I could put him into an outfit that was like interesting, and I could give him a look that was more interesting than a traditional, just some dude who's a vampire. I just wanted to be able to have an excuse to put him in something cool. His stage clothes, and make the stage clothes, interesting. I made him a former rock star. He was somebody who had died and like been buried in his classic look kind of thing. So he comes out of the grave like that. So similar, I probably was inspired on some level of how do I make this guy look great? Well, what a great fucking idea. How do we make this bounty hunter really like a fucking rock star? Oh, let's make him a rock star. So anyway, I love that. Love. Let's see. Anything else I want to talk about in this guy here? No. So it did great at the box office. It was like a big hit for them, not a big budget. This was off the success of Gremlins. So, the audience was kind of like ready for something like this. Siskel and Ebert give it 2 fucking thumbs up, which I was just so shocked. I was like, really? You guys liked it too? I'm like, I'm not the only one, man. I'm like, there's just something really special about this franchise. And honestly, maybe I had seen bits of it, but I had never seen Critters 1. I hadn't. Like I said, maybe some pieces. I thought, I didn't know whether or not I had seen Critters 2 or Critters 1. I remember Critters 2 had the ball of critters on the box art. And so I had thought, Critters 2 might be the one that I saw, because I remembered the ball of critters and whatnot. That was the one where I tuned in just a little bit into it and ended up watching basically the whole movie because I was so fucking into it. And I'd seen it since because I liked it so much. But Critters 1 is excellent. It's smaller and it sets the tone. And even cooler, the last thing I will say about Critters 1 is it kind of I don't know if I don't know historically if there are other movies that had done this already. But Critters 1 ends with all the critters are destroyed, but there's a bunch of eggs. There's a bunch of eggs. Ha ha ha, the eggs are going to hatch, right? But it's a little stupid because Critters 2, it takes fucking 5 years or something like that before these eggs that have been sitting there hatch. But we could just fucking, ignore that. Critters 2, man. Critters 2 is excellent. It's even more funny, but still shocking and horror and menacing. A lot more critters because there's a lot more budget. It features the giant rolling critter. It's got a fucking so again, the 2 bounty hunters come down, and Terrence Mann, or I think that's his name, he does the Ugg costume again. He just still has on his Ugg look. So he's the David Bowie. But the other Transformer, Lee, and I should say, in the first movie, it ended with Charlie, the town drunk, who's like best friends with the young kid that Scott Grimes plays. He disappears. He goes up into the spaceship with the bounty hunters at the end, like to go like be a bounty hunter in space. So he comes back, and he's a reoccurring character. He's very charming. A lot of why the Critters franchise like came back with Critters 3 and Critters 4 was because brother to the actor, he said that basically his brother was being recognized all the time on the street as Charlie. Oh my God, Charlie, we love that movie, we love Critters. Just constantly would be recognized because he really is kind of the face of the franchise, Charlie, especially as time goes on. And they ended up getting green lights on the third movie and the fourth movie, which were shot back to back for a really small budget, but knowing that they were going to make money on home video. And I'm sure at this point, they had big time. And they're really fucking fun. So the cool thing this time, Lee continues just what he did last time, where he is just constantly transforming into other people, including transforming into that super nerdy dude. I think he was like in Greece. I don't remember his name. Oh, Eddie Deason, who plays the Hungry Heifer's manager. So he ends up as one of the guys, one of the forms of Lee. But better than that is there's a moment where he's trying to stop Lee from copying how he looks, or I don't know if he was trying to copy how he looked. He was trying to copy somebody, and instead Charlie tries to block his gaze with this magazine, and he ends up accidentally showing him the Playboy centerfold, and Lee transforms into this gorgeous, topless, fake-titted, beautiful blonde bombshell who's super stoic, and basically she plays this bounty hunter for the rest of the movie, although he does occasionally switch into some other skins like he does in the other movie. This movie switches out the what's his name? And by the way, Charlie, his name is Don Keith Opper is the guy's name. They switch out the sheriff in this movie because I guess the other guy didn't want to come back. There's lots of people in it, who like you might recognize or whatever. But really, like the famous basic plot of this thing is Scott Grimes, whose family's moved out of town. He plays Brad. He comes back to visit for whatever reason, and coincidentally, as he comes back to visit, the Krites come back. And the Krites come back through these eggs. There's like a shitload of eggs that have been laid. This dude finds them. He ends up selling them to a lady. She like haggles with him to get a good price on them. And because she wants them for the Easter celebration at the church. And that leads to just some wonderful, bits of just children painting Krite eggs. And it really is just a cool, I don't know, stuck with me, spoke to me. Just painting the Krite eggs made them real. It was just like really made them feel real. And, and of course, eventually they're hiding the eggs for the children to go into the Easter egg hunt. And then the eggs start hatching. And you're like, oh, shit, these kids are going to go get eaten or whatever. But the first person to get fucking eaten up is that damn Easter bunny played by the, I think it's the new sheriff. And then there's like, they bring out of retirement the old sheriff, but the old sheriff's played by a new guy. So it's a little bit confusing on that level. He doesn't want to be the fucking Easter bunny. And he's just like, I'm fucking Easter bunny. And the old sheriff used to do it. No, I'm not the old sheriff. And then, of course, you're really glad when he gets eaten by the Krite. Yeah, eat that motherfucker. Be nice to the kids for Easter. This movie, I mean, like, it's just like the whole, it's like the first one takes place at night. And this one is just like all in broad daylight. And you kind of got to love it. It's so gratuitous in that way. And humorous, just really, really, really fucking fun. This is the one for me that started it all. I could not look away. But everything that I loved about this still holds up today. As an adult, me watching it, I'm still like, this is great. This is clever. There's the bounty hunter thing, and the bounty hunters changing their looks so that they can blend in on Earth, but it really causing a lot of confusion amongst the people who are like, what the fuck is going on here? It's Johnny Steele again. You were famous in the 80s, Johnny Steele. You haven't aged a day. All of this shit is just too awesome for me. So I'm just gonna keep moving on because we got a lot more, just to cover, and I'm not gonna cover them as in depth as I did the first one, and I'll just kind of keep going a little bit less and less and less so that we can just get through all of them and just point you guys in the directions of the greatness. But Critters 2 is fucking awesome because it kind of struggled a little bit at the box office after they spent a lot more money on it, which tends to be the thing. It's like they have higher expectations and it doesn't do as well. But then it did great on home video and stuff, and eventually the recognition of Charlie over and over again, and the pitch to I guess New Line to do more, they came back with Critters 3 and Critters 4, which were shot back to back from each other. I didn't know any of this. I used to work at Blockbuster Video, so I've seen these boxes a million times, but I'd never watched them. Especially in space and Critters. It's just like, really? Is it any good? Critters 3 is great. Great. It's Leonardo DiCaprio's first movie, as I said. There's a really great cast of characters, well acted. Just they're all kind of wonderful people in the. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the movie so I can pull up any actors and stuff that I want to shout out because they're all really excellent. Not a lot of people that like you're going to recognize any of their names and stuff, but essentially you get like a little appearance from Charlie at the beginning of the movie that kind of sets it up with this family getting a whole bunch of Krite eggs, we don't know how, underneath their car, taking them back to their apartment complex, and then these Krites hatching in the basement of the apartment complex and slowly going up the ranks of the building, chasing everybody up towards the roof, which I really like that aspect too. Like it was like shit, like they have to keep going higher because the Krites are coming from the downstairs and slowly taking everybody out. But really just the little family, the little boy Johnny, played by Joseph Cousins. He's great, and the Leonardo DiCaprio early role for him, and he's excellent. They're great. There's a lady named Diane Bellamy who plays Rosalie. She's like the building's. I don't know if she's the building's super. I don't know. She's just like the annoying person in the building. She has something to do with the building and stuff. She's great. I really like her character. The old lady and her husband, Mr. and Mrs. Mingus, Frances Bay, Happy Gilmore's mom or grandma, sorry, in the movie, getting abused by Ben Stiller. She's in this. The group of them, I'm trying to find the lady. I don't recognize her in any of these pictures. Oh, maybe that's her. Catherine Cortez plays Marcia. Yeah, she's like a real tough lady, possibly like a lesbian. She's just like, she kind of leading lady. There's a great scene where she's dives off the building to try to, or ends up falling off the building, trying to help everybody, and she's dangling off the side, trying to make a phone call. It's really nice. It's like, the whole building knows each other. They're all neighbors, like each other well enough, know each other well enough to kind of form a community. And just that simple thing of like the Krites coming from underneath and slowly funneling everybody upstairs until they're on the roof of this, probably 3 or 4 story apartment complex is great. Just great, simple, fun. Fucking Critters 3 is excellent. You will really enjoy it. Now Critters 4, that one is a little. I mean, it's all right. It's critters in space aspect. It's like the critters on Earth where we don't expect them and don't expect things like that is sort of like one thing. Critters on a space station with people who are in space and people who are like aware that aliens exist and probably dangerous aliens exist and stuff like that. Like that's a big sort of departure, just like in terms of like characters who are experiencing the story. I think there's a heightened bit of tension that happens when the critters are on Earth and everybody's like, what are these? What's happening with these bounty hunters and these things? And where the fuck do they come from? And there are aliens and what the hell? Because that's always like a beginning aspect of like every critters movie. There's usually somebody going, I saw a spaceship. There's aliens. Something crash landed. Blah, blah, blah. And other people going, there's no aliens. No, crash land. But that little bit of disbelief is sort of the thing that people have to get over. Okay, all right, now we've all established that there's fucking critters going around. So Critters 4 on that level, like it doesn't play great. But ultimately it is fun. Just the whole. The critters thing, them rolling around, they're just fucking giant mouths with sharp teeth, and they're hungry, and they're kind of sickly, dementedly, they have a demented sense of humor, and they're just, they're like, nice impression, Jesse, and they're just like, of course, that's going to make you say, Jesse told me that they're just like, and I was like, I got to see that movie now. They are. They're like, all right. We're not going to talk about Critters 4 anymore because it's arguably the weakest, but it's not terrible. It is still enjoyable. I did enjoy it, but of the group of the series, it's definitely the least exciting. So now after that, and it took a little while. It was interesting to me because these Critters, the two other Critters offerings, both seem to come out in 2019. And I was sort of like, how do you have a Shudder series and a new TV movie on SyFy in the exact same year? Well, it turns out the Critters: A New Binge was made earlier and somehow just like took a little while to, I guess, get released or whatever, have an official thing going or whatever. Like I said, a lot of people with Critters: A New Binge were not digging how over the top, how absurd it became. At the same time, guys, the thing about Critters: A New Binge, and the reason why I love it, and like in the list of like which ones are the best ones, I put it over a lot of other ones that I do like. It's just it's filled with new ideas. Some of them are really over the top and like really just insane, and. Again, I'm like half like I want to tell you how fucking insane Critters: A New Binge is, but I'm just gonna say it's fucking insane. It's insane. Critters: A New Binge is insane. Plot points are gonna happen and things like reveals are gonna happen. You're gonna be like, what? No, what? Come on, guys, you're not serious. They're serious, and it's great. It's really great. That's the thing about like Critters. It's just always half funny, half, but we're taking it seriously. and I mean, like, and I know that's a weird thing to say, but like, well, you're making it a joke. But yes, but at the same time, at the end of the day, the stakes are still life or death. It's serious enough that like it plays for me. It works, and this movie is insane. Really insane. You won't know any of the cast, but they're awesome. It's really centers around this kid and his mom, and her mom's like got a weird boyfriend who's a delivery man. He turns out to be a bounty hunter who's been biding his time because there's some Krite hidden on Earth, and the Krites have been sent to go find this Krite that's hidden on Earth. There's a great little bit of Gilbert Gottfried, and maybe he's got this Krite as a pet, and like all this other stuff that's going on in the flick. The dude who plays Christian Sloan, who plays Holt, who's like the boyfriend delivery guy, but then turns out to be the bounty hunter. Really great because he's like so stupid. And he's like this surfer guy. You don't see it coming that he's the bounty hunter, and then it turns out he's the bounty hunter. I'm just spoiling like a little something, but it's early. It's really, really well done there. And oh my God, just like lots of just over the top bits. there's these two bounty hunters that get sent to Earth. They end up like crash landing in Australia, and now they're running across the continent trying to get all the way to the United States. Only 200,000 more miles to go, which is funny because each episode was released as like an 8 to 10 minute episode of like the segment of this full movie. So just the idea that these bounty hunters are like, start out like over there and it's like, well, we've got 8 episodes to get all the way to the finale. So it's just clever in how it's written. Really just the execution is insane. It's very over the top. The critters, cut and they've got an outfit on that's tells a little joke, similar to Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2, where there's a little gag here and a little gag there. It's over the top, but it's amazing because of all the new ideas offered up into it. And again, I'm not going to give you all of them or whatever, and some of them you might not like if you take this more seriously or whatever, but I really did. There's just a lot of silly things. Like I said, that red Krite is just very funny. The main reveal of like the critter that they're looking for and all the stuff, it's excellent. Excellent. I love it. I left Critters a new binge. I think it's fucking great. All right. Moving into the last real one, Studio One, 2019's Critters Attack. It's awesome. You got Miss D getting honored here. Playing Miss D Wallace. A cast that you won't recognize. Like I said, the acting is not the best. The acting is not the best. But it is still really enjoyable. Ultimately, it's a poor man's version of the first one and the third one. Kind of the third. Again, the third one, the self-containment to it being in the building. And the first one, the self-containment to it being in their house. And then the second one, it all being in broad daylight, sort of based around a community event of Easter and Easter egg hunting and stuff like that. Really cool. This one is just a little bit more like the whole town kind of thing. It's a little bit more expansive, but that doesn't really add anything to it. It being a little tighter and a little bit more contained definitely added something to it. But here it's a little bit of like a mark against it. But all ultimately awesome. Funnily enough, this movie was written by a pretty famous comic book writer, Scott Lobdell. It's not one of my favorite comic book writers, but the script here is great. He did a great job. So, the final things to wrap up this Critters story here that we're talking about. We're going to talk about Critters All You Can Eat, the 2023 short, and Critters Bounty Hunter, the even better 2014 short. Okay. I'll talk just briefly about the more recent one, the Critters All You Can Eat. So cool that they made this. The people doing it clearly love the fucking Critters. It's passable. It's fun. It's silly. And, it's really like 15 minutes. There's like long credits at the end of it. And, these guys who did it are just clearly having a really good time. It's not that funny. It's not well acted. It's the effects aren't the best, but it is fun and silly, for those of you who are big Critters fans or are going to become big Critters fans after this video. However, the Critters Bounty Hunter short, which is about 6 minutes, awesome, man. Just simple special effects with the bounty hunter and his green glowing face and him coming into the house. Just the suspense of him just walking through various things. There's a Terrence Mann film on the TV. There's lots of little references going on. There's a great song that plays when it ends. And it's just really, really well done. The bounty hunter looks great. The guns look great. The critter looks great. And it's pretty simple. It's a very simple fucking fight between this bounty hunter and the one critter. And, maybe it could have even been a little bit more intense and a little bit more interesting, but it's excellent. It's really, really well done. And definitely a worthy thing to watch and a great thing to share around for any Critters fans. It's just super fun. All right. So let's let's do the ordering if we can. All right, at number 8 on my list of ordering, there's Critters All You Can Eat, which is the fan film that came out most recently. You can feel free to skip this. It won't change your life. At number 7, we've got the 4th installment in the franchise, Critters in Space. I mean, to a certain degree, you can skip Critters 4, but you might like Critters 4. It's not bad. Critters All You Can Eat is like, it's bad, but it's fun. Critters 4, it's really just not as good as the other guys because of the formula is just a little bit messed up, and then being in space just makes it less exciting for the characters, because they're like I said, they are in space already. So obviously on some level, they're not like so surprised that there are monsters in space. So Critters 4, number 7. Number 6, and it's great. Like it's from 6 on here, I recommend all of these wholeheartedly. Even though this is the weakest of them, but Critters Attack, it's great. It's very solid, like I said, Critters 1, Critters 3, but just maybe not quite as strong. At number 5, we're going to go with Critters Bounty Hunter, which is really, really well done, really, really well executed, the fan film. But it's short. It's only like 6 minutes, and it doesn't necessarily bring anything new to the franchise. It's just really, really well crafted. So at number 4, for me, it's Critters: A New Binge, which is silly and maybe stupid and whatever else, but it's like so clever that it's so stupid that it's clever again. It's just, have we gone so dumb that we've become smart again? That's what I think about when I think about Critters: A New Binge. I kept rewinding things. I just kept going, what? Really? What the fuck? Seriously? This shit's insane. Critters: A New Binge, number 4 for me. All right. At number 3, it's Critters 3, which is excellent. It's great. On par with Critters, the first one. But Critters, the first one's got to edge it out a little bit, especially because it's just a little bit tighter in the containment and the family. It's just all a family. Just a little smaller in a couple ways that made it that much better. And then rounding out the list at number 1, it is Critters 2, my favorite, the one that really got me into the franchise, even though it bombed at the box office or whatever it was that it might be. When I saw this movie on TV, I was just like, wow, this is so fun. I don't know exactly, like, if I felt like I'd never seen anything like it before or anything, but like, it's I'm not a big horror person. So like for me, it was one of those movies that made me go, oh, like maybe the horror genre does have some things for Jesse Blaze Snyder. If there's more things out like more things like this in the world, like I'm in. Anyway, that's it. That's the shot. Your official Coolest Alive celebration of fucking Critters. And it's been injected directly into your veins, I hope. It's infecting you now as we speak. But we will be back on Monday with music, Tuesday with animation, Wednesday with comics, Thursday with live action. Oh, I saw a fucking awesome creature feature alligator movie called Rogue. I'm talking about that on Thursday. Or I don't know if anything else is going to bump it. I might have some other things that are leaving my memory, so I might do something before Rogue, but possibly Rogue on Thursday. Oh God, Rogue's so good. And Friday with Wild Card Madness and anything comedy, documentaries, whatever. And Saturday. Again next week with another full hour mother show that crowns kings and sometimes burns kingdoms to the ground. You can slide into my DMs or you can email jbs@blacklightdistrict.studio and tell me what's currently melting your face off that I've recommended. I read every single message I get. Do not keep sleeping on my other podcast, Everything They Don't Want You to Know, dropping fresh esoteric fire every single Sunday. I did a really important to me episode this Sunday called Love, the only motivating factor that matters. And I really highly recommend you check it out. I really let my freak flag fly and lay it all out on the line. So if you want to see me being as vulnerable and honest as I've ever been in my entire life, check out the latest episode of Everything They Don't Want You to Know, which will be coming out a day after this one drops. And that show, we rip off the mask of reality and we hand you the actual instructions, the ones that the fucking Freemasons and the Illuminati and the secret societies of this world are using. And for those of you who go, there is no secret. there is. I've been invited to join them. Son of D. Snyder here, somebody who was in Los Angeles for a very long period of time. And I have run into these groups. And this world is far more secretive, weird, lying than you would ever imagine. And the only reason why I know is because I've had a bunch of practical experiences learning it the hard way. And yes, Blacklight District Studio is still out here cooking boutique music, comics, and merch that you can't get anywhere else. So please jump in on the current Kickstarter, or late pledge, as it were, for one of these glow-in-the-dark goodies before they're gone forever at blacklightdistrict.studio. Anyway, this is Jesse Blaze Snyder, beaming out from the neon heart of Blacklight District, telling you one last time, stay cool and stay alive, my friends. Care Bear Stare, I hope you will join me next week for another fucking awesome hour-long celebration or demolition of something awesome on Coolest Alive. Love you guys. Peace out. You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part. Isn't that heavy? I'll play that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And cry sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. I'm a genius. I got lyrics coming out me bum for days. You like that? It's a kazoo solo. I played that too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living the shit. My voice is fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right or text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top. Awesome. Passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground. Hooray!